right. So Cabernet, the king, of course.
The king. Yes.
So a very popular variety out there in the world, Cabernet Sauvignon. I don't know, just, I guess try to share things that some people kind of don't know, but Cabernet Sauvignon, the Sauvignon part, just like it is with Sauvignon Blanc, it actually means savage. And that's kind of a testament to the way that the grape variety will grow. And if you plant Cabernet Sauvignon or Sauvignon Blanc in a soil that's very rich and loamy and deep and not very challenging for the vine, the tree, it'll grow like a tree. The vine will grow like a tree, and it'll send up a lot of foliage. There'll be a lot of leaves that are there, an incredible amount of crop, and you'll have a hard time actually getting that fruit ripe because there's so much that's there. So through trial and error over the years, people have learned with these very vigorous, savage varieties to plant them in soils that are a bit more challenging. So maybe more rocks, more kind of gravel bars, places where the vine really does have to struggle. And that's kind of a cliche, the vines need to struggle to make great wine. But it's definitely very true, and it is very appropriate for a variety like Cabernet Sauvignon that is just so vigorous naturally on its own. So a lot of the vineyards that we prefer our Cabernet to come from are vineyards and locations where the soil would not really be very good treatment for other types of varieties. But Cabernet can handle it. It is the workhorse. It is very adaptable.
It's the heavy-duty guy.
Absolutely, and that's probably part of its reason that it's risen to such fame is its ability to be very diverse.
Yeah.
And so our Cabernets up in Mendocino County, we don't get them to crazy high sugar sort of levels because our bud break, the times when the grapevines are really starting to wake up and things are going to be happening as far as the growth cycle, is a little later than our kind of more famous neighbors down to the south. Mm-hmm. And what that means is that we're going to actually get our grapes a little bit later in the season is when things are going to get ripe. So things have started to cool off at that time. September, very warm time of year, but Cabernet really doesn't get ripe until maybe October, even November. Mm-hmm. So things have started to cool down a bit, and we're not getting these huge heat spikes when the grape is most susceptible to problems with dehydration and evaporation from high temperatures. So we get very good balance between what's called sugar ripeness, which is obviously the sugar, the pulp, and phenolic ripeness, which is really the ripening of the skin. And I think a lot of people, they just think, well, there's one type of ripeness when it comes to grapes, and that's just about the sugar. Well, there's actually two. The skin ripening is really what, as winemakers, we're paying a lot of attention to because that's where the flavor really comes from. The sugar is just about potential alcohol.
Are you saying in Mendocino County this comes a little later in the year here?
Yes. Yeah, we typically pick a little later because it's, again, we get that later start because we're a bit cooler, and bud break is, takes a little bit longer for us to get to. So the vines kind of sleep in a little bit longer around here, which as winemakers we would love to be able to do ourselves, particularly during harvest. But we get late ripening, and so what that translates into is good flavor, but not as with high of an alcohol level. So all these wines so far were in the 13 to 13.5 alcohol range. And whereas a lot of wines that are out there now, they're 15, 16% alcohol, and it's hard to come back for a second glass. And we want people to be able to have a glass or two and enjoy their time and not be completely boozed out of their minds. So we're really fortunate having the conditions that we have up here in Mendocino County, where we're not kind of tied into those really kind of high-octane type stuff. And they make very, very easy to pair with food as well.
Right.
So let's taste. Cheers.
Yes.